Hello, welcome to the Scientists in Action channel. Today my group composed by Débora Andrade, Isabela Simões, Lívia Sales, Othavio Gonçalves, Sophia Canedo, and Uanderson Luciano are going to talk about what's the reality or lack of it in Fast and Furious. We will first discuss how the chemistry of the famous nitro fuel works, and later also explain how some maneuvers may or may not work in reality, and why. For that is gonna be using the laws of physics, mathematics, and a little of logics.
So, first we are going to discuss about nitro. Nitro is stored inside the cylinder in liquid form. When it is injected into the engine, on despressurization, it becomes gaseous. This air is extremely cold, which cools the engine and the piston, which doesn't let them melt from the high heat of the combustion. Cooling the cylinder as well, generating a dense mixture rich in oxygen are oxidizing. Nitro is not flammable and has even been used as a light anesthetic. In the universe of Fast and Furious, nitrous oxide is a magical substance that can make all your car problems disappear. Fans of the movie always question about the effectiveness of nitrous oxide because it seems to be Don's choice for any kind of racing problems. It may sound crazy, but in reality, nitrous oxide is crucial in racing because it allows the engine to burn fuel and oxygen effectively, resulting in a powerful combustion.
Now let's start discussing the maneuvers. The first one that was chosen is the one of Fast and Furious 6, when characters are running on an airstrip and being chased by a plane on fire. The problem on this one, and what makes the maneuver impossible, is the time that it takes. This maneuver we can see a perfect example of Hollywood using their favorite time dilation, which is that when a really exciting action for the viewer is happening. It can take as long as the director wants to take, slowing down the cars to 120 miles an hour. And we choose the number for the reason of better representation and understanding. Because of it, it's 120 miles an hour. The car is going 2 miles every minute. So, for every minute on that, in the movie, you're traveling 2 miles. The longest airport runway in the world, Bandung Airport, is 3.4 miles, which means if they were on the runway, they still could only take 1.7 minutes, and it doesn't. This maneuver is 11, almost 12 minutes in the movie, which would result in just impressively long runway, who doesn't exist. And also have the fact that Don's driving is a 2012 Dodge car. And let's pretend this is a super reinforced version of a Dodge Charge. Even if the rules of the movie, he doesn't have a lot of time to get speed, because he's only got inside of a plane, and as you saw from the fight that was going on, there's not a lot of room. This one was a mess in the reality sense, but looked cool for the spectator, so I think that what matters in the end.
The Fast and Furious Stock Drift is a movie marked by skin sense. Incredible moment is when the Mazda RX-7 piloted by hand makes a 360-degree drift around another car. This maneuver is possible to happen, and I will explain why. It's normal driving when we are trying to make a turn. There needs to be a friction between the tires and the road. According to Newton's first law of motion, the car's natural tendency is to go straight. But when the maneuvering a turn, friction between the two surfaces pulls the car onto a curved path rather than a straight one. Now imagine trying to steer a car on an ice road. That would be close to impossible, as the coefficient of friction, the value that tells us how smooth or road a surface is very low, and subsequently the centripetal force which allows it to turn would be almost zero. How could you steer the car in order to make a turn? The answer is to rotate your tires away from the direction of the turn, which drifts refer to as counter-steering in order to lose traction and drift. This explains why the wheels point in the opposite direction when the drifts negotiate a turn, and why the tires on cars especially customized for drifting are the most important element of the vehicle.
However, by the cars doing 360-degree drifts, either at the movies or in reality, by the professionals, okay? A circumference can be formed. This geometric figure, composed by the union of equidistant points, acquires an extremely important role for math, as we can see in elliptical geometry, in which it is possible to deduce an equation that represents this, which is called the general equation of the circumference. By this one, we are able to analyze the behavior of geometry elements in the Cartesian plane. This is the equation. This one is deduced through the reduced equation. Note that the image has the center C, delimited by the points A and B, and the radius R, so we can form the reduced equation as... Note that since there are two subtractions raised to the power of 2, this equation can be better developed as substituting the equation we have. Now, just pass the r squared to the beginning, and we have our very important general equation of the circumference to the reduced form. In this video, we talk about the Fast and Furious action movie franchise, and the physics, chemistry, math, and a little logic behind it. We also discussed how the famous nitro fuel works, and if some action scenes in the movie may or may not work in reality. Thank you for watching the video, we hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.